So hello, Ron Monden here, and welcome to my review of Koi To Uso episode 5. I found it a good episode, but it was kind of like, it's hard to explain in one way, or it's very, very simple to explain. I would say that it's a good episode, but it's like one of the most predictable animes ever. Like suddenly it went like super predictable, but it was great. So I think that I felt, what I usually feel when I watch Nichiko, when I was new a couple of years back, is that it's like, it gave me what I expected, right? So if I'm happy to what I expected, then that's great. So it's kind of like going to McDonald's or something like a Burger King, or like a kind of classic food restaurant where you know you're gonna get. So it's ISO 9000 really comes to quality, right? So you don't expect it to be, expect it to be an 8 out of 10, and you get 8 out of 10 right. That's kind of what it felt like. So why I enjoyed it, it really was like, yeah, they had everything. They had the bathing, right? So you're going down there in the half nude, and he gets like, oh, it's kind of awkward, but it really isn't. And then she trips, has to carry her. That thing, right? His yaoi relationship there gets complicated. We talk to him when he is referring to that he thinks that Nisaka likes his girl, right? And then he's like, oh no, I like you, but he's supposed to say it. They get interrupted by someone, suddenly blocking them. At that, also very cliche. Then they do this test of courage, which is a very Japanese thing. So we got in the woods, right? And in that moment, of course, one pairing falls down and almost do it, while the other pairing has this like, oh shit, groundbreaking resolution. They're like, oh my god, I just blasted my mind with that knowledge. So then of course they all kind of get together in the end, have a new nice beautiful scenery scene, while Riri-chan is like, oh shit. Yeah, and she's still living on that other thing. And then they continue on with that. So it's kind of like, I think it was a really good episode. But at the same time, it's like, wow, this is exactly what I expected. Like, minute by minute pretty much. Even the Oba-san thing was like, yeah, of course the Oba-san likes the Bishonen boy. He's like, oh, you're so modest. Like, no, I didn't do anything. No, you say that. He's just a beautiful young man like you. Oh, I wish my son could be you. That kind of thing like that. So everything was like, it was super classic relationship anime or manga or drama. Yeah, it was textbook how to do it. So I didn't mind it, but I felt like, I don't know, I don't want to be too harsh, but I would say that, as I said earlier, it's kind of like you entered and expected and got exactly what you expected. So in one way it's like 10 episode, because like, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Oh yeah, that every bam, 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 had every bullet point. Nice. And all the time it's like, I wish they had every bullet point and add something new, or maybe even didn't do some bullet points. Like sometimes I kind of wish that they would go in a direction, and you as the viewer would believe that, okay, here they are gonna use, like this cliche, oh, she's fall down, he has to carry her. Like, that was predictable. So wouldn't it be kind of fun? He was like, oh, you hurt yourself, Ririn. It's my fault. Yeah. And instead of him carrying her, we would see, for example, either Nisaka appearing, or then of course her. That's the case. You'd be like, oh, I'll carry her, don't worry. She throws her up and carries her girlfriend or best friend or whatever. It's weird and shit. And he's like, okay, sorry for later. Pick up her stuff. Okay, like that could have been something. I probably would laugh at that even more if they just kind of like lampshaded the kind of classic cliche bullet point there. They had a few moments where I felt like, okay, this could actually be like, they're building this thing up. So I predicted, okay, this is gonna happen. And every time I predict something, it happened, right? So it's extremely predictable. But they really did everything good though. So it's kind of like, it's really hard to say. Depends on what you want, I guess. I think that because the anime, especially episode 3, but also episode 2 and so on, have really gone against a lot of the tropes and managed to throw in some really weird stuff there that I didn't expect. For example, that they're getting into this marriage thing, but he's like, oh, I'm okay, do this other girl, like that thing, like the whole premise there is really good. It's really interesting, really new. I feel it's fresh. As I mentioned, like me feels like this is a fresh anime. So there I feel this is extremely non-fresh, right? It's still really good, but like, because I guess a little what I expected for this anime, I suppose. In one way. In another way, I also expected everything to happen here. So it's weird to say, because on the same time, I also got exactly what I did expect. But I watched the preview last week, I was like, yeah, okay, cottage, weird yaoi scene there, misses yaoi scene, he's gonna see the girls naked, something similar to that. it's gonna be some kind of Firefly out in the woods thing that's gonna be complicated. It will both be like almost having sex with someone and also having some kind of resolve or something like that, resolution or something like that. Yada yada, right? So you got all of that. So it's kind of weird. It really is. But yeah, I wish they had. I like the episode. I do like the episode. I just wish one scene. I think that would be enough probably to make me still be like, yeah, this 10 out of 10 or like a little higher in scoring. If one scene was tricking me, right? Actually, think about it, especially after having had these scenes where, okay, like bullet point 1 to 10, and you're like, okay, they are 5 in a row now. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is going to the list, right? And then number 6, I'll be like, okay, and this will happen, and then, bam, that moment, they'll be like, oh, no, we're going completely ass there. Like that, I think would be really interesting if they changed it, the formula a little in the middle there, or maybe in the end. But especially at the end is a little too much. Also, kind of like, of course, you would end do it. It's probably in the middle where you feel that okay, they go into the formula. This is gonna go bam, 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 bam. Suddenly you get what's happening, and then you go back, bam, bam. That could have been like, whoa, interesting, yeah. So I think that's probably what I liked. A little twist somewhere. Yes, trios had a kiss from Nisuka. Yeah, there were no twists in this thing, I suppose. It's weird. One thing I want to mention again, though, I mention it every week, is that I really don't like. This is probably my big concern with this anime. I don't know if the manga is the same. I hope it's not, I guess. Or something weird. The manga is easier to state stuff. That's why I hope the manga is the same, because a manga wise you have a page just listing all the laws, right? Much easier than the anime. The anime you can like freeze frame and do all these law things. It's harder. Because again, they are back at this like, well, if you break up the marriage, you can't go to school because it's like, no, you're bottom of this order, like doing crime, this is like you're illegal, you're doing something weird, so you will, yeah. And again, I feel like I really want them. I guess it was a kind of like a revelation for her, so that's how it is. But still, that could be a good moment for Nisuka to explain to her and to us all the rules of this Yukari system, right? I feel that that's also lacking in this anime. That have this like just the marriage thing, and then it's never explained, and then suddenly this is apparently a big rule here, and you're always wondering, okay, what's happening, and that gives some clearance, but not how you do it. What happens if your wife is, whatever, or your husband is beating you, or whatever, like, yeah, can you break the marriage down? That is never really explained, because in this situation here, it was like, well, if you break the marriage, you get punished like crazy. Okay, I guess that's fair, because that she's alone. But what if they break the marriage because this fiance beats you every day? What if she went to the cops and said, "He beats me every day"? Would that be okay then? Would you just pair up with someone that lost their woman in some accident, or break her up or this, blah blah blah? And is there one partner is innocent? See what I mean? That wasn't explained. But he was like, well, if you break up the marriage, that's gonna means that he's gonna be screwed, that in this sense. But is that really the case? Wouldn't it be like the person that's doing it would screw up? So if she, personally said, I can't marry this guy, I'm in love. So if she did that, would he then be free to both get sort of girl and go to school without any problem and so on? Or would it be that, you both failed? So that still needs an explanation. I think that's something that would always be concerned for me anime. I said that the episode, but I feel that I wanted more of that. I definitely wanted more of this guy explaining this stuff, or the details of it, because it always futures me, or more like I always ponder. And I do think that sometimes during some scenes, right, it just feels like I really want to know the rules for this world, like the laws, so it makes a little more sense directly. Or as he says, there's a good scene then. I like the scene then. I liked what we got there. And he's like, you know what, you're a real idiot, because what you're doing is breaking the law, and that. I think that is good in that sense. So yeah. But anyway, yes. It's next week they're gonna go to kind of marriage training. Looks funny as well. I think that thing I think will be more interesting actually. On that marriage law thing again. There. So you're gonna send them to some kind of cooking classes all together. They're gonna share a room. I think by law they're like, well, you're gonna get married. Might as well share the same bed. Come on, like that. So that looks good. That looks good. So I'll see you guys next week, and have a great day.